are continue working on our Egypt journal today, and I am going to make another one or two of these. It is a large paper bag that I've made out of some of my jelly print paper, and it has a front pocket here, a large front pocket here, so it has a couple of large journaling spaces, and then in here is another large journaling card. And this, I've just put some of this really cool, like handmade kind of, it's like a rice paper almost or something, that I backed with some cardstock. And then I found, then I've collaged it with some book page. Oh, the pocket's made out of book page, and I've collaged it with some stuff. So let me tell you, below in the description box, I am going to put a link to where I printed off some of these free, copyright-free images, and then also some of these, which are like perfect. They're Egyptian patterns, and I cut them apart. It was a big full sheet of them. I cut them down into the smaller little pieces, and they work great for collage. They bring some, like a pop of color in. So do these ribbons, which I was at Hobby Lobby. I didn't have anything that I was like, what do I have that's Egyptian feeling? Not much. But I was at Hobby Lobby and found these two ribbons, and I think it's so funny. They only wanted to commit to ethnic design decorative trims, multi. It just says ethnic. It doesn't describe what type of ethnic. So I was like, these were the two. There were like 4 or 5 of them. And these two just kind of reflected the colors of, that kind of go along with the Egyptian feel, see? Right? So anyway, I picked these up because I thought I wanted fabric to go on the sides of things and to make tabs. So I picked those up, and then I also pulled out of my stash this nice rich trim that's like a red. It has a little red thread running through it, but it's gold. And then this little thin trim that I've used along the bottom there, that's just a standard gold thing that I've had in there. And then I pulled out some gold rickrack. I'm not sure if I'll use that or not. Rickrack, Egyptian, I'm not sure. Well, I'll probably play with it and see. But anyway, so I went through also my book pages, and I cut out the rest of the images that I wanted to have to use to collage and stuff. So let's make another 1 or 2 of these guys, and I think they're probably going to clip in so they can be moved around, because it's a really big element. I kept it because I use a full-size sheet of this jelly print paper, it makes it just slightly smaller than the page that I want it to sit on, which is fine because we'll probably eventually make some altered paper clips from some of these like amulet things. And so we'll be able to use those to clip this into the book. So let us grab some of so this is my Wild Adventure paper pack, jelly print paper pack. And I'm going to go with this bright red one because it just is grabbing my attention. I've printed it to full bleed, so it's borderless, but if you don't have a printer that doesn't do that or whatever, just, cut your white edges off. And then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to go ahead and make a very simple bag, like a paper bag. And so to do that, I want to cross over the 2 pieces here. I want to cross them over just about 1 inch or less. And so I'll just go with that first one, and I make sure that I line it up straight here on the bottom. Let me grab my bone folder. All right, and then I'm going to overlap this one about 1 inch. So I'm going to line it up straight on the bottom, overlap it about 1 inch, and put a crease in it. And then at this point, you'll want to measure, because if you are making this to fit a journal page, you don't want it to be any wider than the journal page you're trying to like glue it to or attach it to. So mine are 8.5 by 11 pages folded in half. The largest ones are. So I wouldn't want it any wider than 5.5, but this is 5. So we're good. We're good. Then I'm going to make the bottom flap. So I fold it up on the bottom here, about 3/4 of an inch. You can go as tall or, you know, skinny as you want to on the bottom here. So those are our 3 folds. Then we unfold and unfold and unfold, and you can see your fold lines here. And this is where we have to cut. So you're going to cut on the 2 flaps. You cut the little bottom tag off. And rather than cutting straight down this fold, I'm going to cut diagonally like this. So I cut straight across, and then rather than going straight here, like this, I'm going to angle a little bit, like so. Then I'll do the same on this side. Cut on the fold line. And then instead of cutting on the fold line, I'm going to angle it over just a slight. And that just takes some of the bulk out. So now we should have this shape, right? So I'm going to just ink along this edge. I don't need it to be super inky, but I don't like the, you know, I don't like the white edge showing through. And hello, looking for my glue, the right glue. Now I'm going to glue this flap shut. There we go. And you want to make sure that you're not gluing your bag shut, because I have definitely glued my bag shut before. So we make sure there's no glue seeping through the seam on the inside there. Looks like we're good. Then this bottom flap folds up. So this will complete our bag. So we've got to put a little glue on here. This is pretty simple, but the brilliance about being able to like make your own bags out of whatever paper you're working with means that you can extend your digital kit. All right, so there we go. We have our paper sack. Now, it's open on the top here, and I punched a little hole in the back, so I'm going to do that again. I'm using my 2-inch punch, or I think this is my 2.5. Yeah. My 2-inch punch kind of has an attitude, so I don't use it. I think I just need to get a new one. It's one of the ones with the 2 handles, and it just never does what it's supposed to do. But I would like to have one that worked. All right. So you will notice that I totally forgot to ink the inside of this before I did this. So I'm going to do that quickly here. And I am just using Vintage Photo. I'm going to go around the little notch. I'm going to go around the top on this side. And since we're doing the inking, let's just do all the inking. I'm not going to worry too much about these edges because this dark red is, yeah, really not showing it much anyway. So, okay. Now we need to create that really big pocket on front. The big pocket that this goes into. So to do that, I used some of my Egyptian book pages. Let me grab, that have all been like cut into. I want to find one that just has text. Here, let's see, what's this one? There we go. As you can see, I've done some cutting. Okay, I'm gonna cut like I was saying in my last video, the lovely part about book pages is that they've got this nice, you know, they've got their margins, and it makes it so easy to cut along and cut fairly straight lines free-handed. And look at that, it's like the perfect width. It's perfect width. So then I just have to pick which line I want to cut it down to. Let's try that one. Okay, I'm going to straighten this edge up a little. Hope you guys are doing good. I am doing pretty decent. We had a busy weekend. We had our big concert outside on Saturday, which was lovely. It really, the weather couldn't have been better. I mean, it's just perfect. I am going to ink around the edge of this. So the concert went really well, and thank you to those of you who tuned in and saw parts of it. I think the video is just up now, like the live. We live streamed it, but now I think it's just live stream as like a video on the channel now. So you can go see that, but it was fun. We had fun, and the weather was gorgeous, like I said. So I cheated it off the pocket on the original one. I cheated it to the side like this. So see how it's real thin over here and thicker on this side? That's just to leave some space so that I can, you know, put the pocket in. But we should probably do one on the opposite side, because the tab will stick out whichever way I put it in there. So this way I can put, you know, rather than putting them all on the same side of the page. This is just me thinking out loud. Okay, so I am going to use, oh, well, I've already got the other half of the one I ripped down. It just needs a little more ripping. This is the other part of the page that I used for the other pocket. And these are Tracy Fox's. Perfect, that's perfect. Egyptian relics, collage papers, which work perfect for this. Like I've said a billion times, she does most of the collage work for you, so then you just get to attach it and make it look like you did all this layering, which we're still going to do layering, but it gives you a base layer that's nice and easy to work from. Okay. So now I'm just going to kind of plan out my composition. I'm going to go to that side, and I'm going to just kind of plan what I want this to look like. And I think I'm going to use some of these little brightly colored guys here, and then maybe something from here. Let's see if I've got any. Oh, I've got this little thing. I don't think there were that many smaller. They're mostly big, yeah. So maybe we'll just go with this. Okay, so we'll zhuzh them up. Anyway, so we had our concert on Saturday, and then by the time you set it up, then you do the concert for 4 hours, and then you take it down. You gotta move all the sound system, because, you know, we are not rock stars, so we are our own roadies. So we have to break the sound system down, bring it all back inside, set it all back up for church the next morning. So we did all of that, and then went home and baked because it was Father's Day. Here we go. On the other one, I put a little piece of hieroglyphics along the top, which I kind of thought was cool looking. I've got a couple of little strips of it, so we'll but this got a rough edge. So I baked. We have Sunday lunch together, if you've heard me say it before. Every Sunday we have our whole family after church comes over for Sunday lunch. And so it was my sister's birthday and Father's Day. So 2 cakes, one for Colleen's birthday. So Colleen got a dark chocolate espresso cake, which was pretty yummy because she loves dark chocolate and she loves her coffee like me. I don't even know which way is up on this. For some reason, this feels right. So we're gonna just go with that. And I'm gonna put a strip of this cloth behind it. This is just some real grungy muslin, coffee stain muslin. I'm going to put a strip of this behind there for like just some extra interest. So Colleen got her coffee chocolate cake, and then for the guys for Father's Day, okay, yeah, roughly, let's start gluing it down. This is just kind of based on the model that I did the other one with. So I'm going to move this away because I'm going to just glue everything down to here first, and then I'll glue the pocket on. So the guys got, I was trying to think like, you know, what's a manly cake to bake? Manly. What's a man cake for Father's Day? So then I thought, you know, I've had a maple bacon donut and it was pretty fantastic. And I was like, if you put bacon to it, you know, that pretty much makes it manly, right? Bacon. So I made a maple bacon cake with like crumbled bacon on it, and the cake itself was maple flavored, and it was pretty tasty. It was the best of both worlds. It was the best of, you know, sweet and salty. Yeah, it was good. And the guys liked it. Actually, I think everybody liked both of them. It was funny because the kids, the littles, my nieces and nephews were like, I don't know if I want that one. They actually didn't think they wanted either one because they don't like coffee. So they were like, we don't want the coffee one, ick. And then I said, okay, we'll try the other one. And they kept saying it's just going to taste like, you know, pancakes and syrup and bacon. Like, it's going to taste like breakfast. And they were like, it's gross. It's got bacon. Who puts bacon on a cake? Well, they tried it and they liked it, of course. Because I think you could put bacon on everything and it'd be good, right? Put bacon in your vegetables, makes them good. Okay. All right. I'm going to put this on here. I'm just trying to think, does it need something behind it? But I kind of like the way it's all blending together without being too... I don't know. Sometimes I like collage that has like a main element that's kind of stands out above everything else. And sometimes I like collage that just kind of turns into one cohesive piece, which is what I'm kind of digging about this right now. Now let's glue this here. So Sunday was Father's Day, so we did Father's Day, and then finally got a chance to just kind of sit down and rest for a few minutes on Sunday afternoon. I wasn't feeling the greatest. I think my allergies, man, Sunday morning, my sister and I both woke up just like out of control allergies. Could not. I took 2 different antihistamines and ended up having to take my inhaler, and I still couldn't like catch my breath, and I wasn't feeling good. Something strong. We had some sort of strong allergic reaction to something up up around here, because she was the same way. She came into church. We lead worship together, and she came into church and she's like, "Oh, I hope you could sing." And I was like, "I hope you could sing." We both sounded awful. Sneezing and coughing. It was no good. So I don't know what it is, but we've been having quite the start to the allergy season up here, boy. I put the glue a little too far over. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry a little bit before I glue it down to the pocket, or as a pocket. But there we go. And open on the top. So I will glue around this. And then I made a little notch in the last one. So let's make a notch. The last one I made it around here. I don't want to put it down here because it's too close to the little guy. So we'll just do it up here. For a second, I freaked out and I thought, oh my gosh, am I punching the wrong side to make the pocket over there? But I didn't. I managed to do it somehow without thinking. Okay. So now let's talk about the cards that I made to go in there. This is where I got this paper from. It was this, it was an album, like a souvenir album, and it must have been from Hawaii, I'm gonna guess. And again, this is from my friend Dorothy. It was in one of my garbage boxes. And it was a photo album, and so you're supposed to be able to tuck photos in here. But I was like, this paper is so awesome. So I started disassembling this thing to try and harvest the paper. And like, this is what it looks like. So you gotta cut these like strings. This whole thing is hand sewn. You had to pull these strings, and the strings are made out of some sort of natural fiber. You got to pull them out of here. And then for some reason it's backed with this like bright pink paper. The front side of this thing was like coconut leaves or something. It was weird. It was cool, but it was bizarro, and it was really puffy. So I'm gonna save this because it's kind of a cool paper. It's got a cool texture to it, right? It looks kind of handmade-ish too. So we're gonna keep that. And then this is what you're left with. So I, even though it has some holes in it, when you glue it to a piece of cardstock, which, let me grab my, so I've just got a piece of like 80-pound jive old cardstock. And I'm using my washable purple glue stick. And the reason I use this one, guys, is because they're cheap and accessible, and I know I'm going to sew around the edges of this. So I would not be using it if I wasn't going to sew, because, you know, as far as like standing the test of time, not so sure about that, its ability to do that, but I definitely can use it for this sort of general application. So, anyway, all right, so now we're gonna press this paper down onto it. I'm just gonna go over the edge a little bit. There we go. Oh, there come the girls home. They've been up at church practicing music because they're leading worship at camp this year, Bible camp. They've been going to the same Bible camp for many, many years, since they were little. Actually, I led music at this Bible camp the year before Lizzie was old enough to even go to it. And so now like they've gone all the years that they were eligible, and then Lizzie started being a counselor as soon as she was old enough to be a counselor. And then Joy is now eligible to be a counselor, but instead of being a counselor, she actually is going to help lead worship with Lizzie. Oh, and they're arguing. Can you hear that? Isn't that precious? Right as I'm talking about them going to lead music at Bible camp, they're out there arguing. So, can you shut my door, Liz? Thanks.
Hi, Mom subscribers.
Did you hear that? Lizzie says, hi, Mom's subscribers. Okay. I, of course, am going to save these two larger scraps, even though they have holes in them, because this looks like it's just such stinking cool paper. It will make cool fodder for collage, you know, like clusters and stuff. Anyway, they're going to go be, they were asked to be the music leaders this year, which is pretty cool. So they were up at church practicing music. Okay, so this is probably, yeah, dry. So I'm going to go ahead and let this set over here for a second and dry a little bit before I put my sewing machine through it and put it through my cutter. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this pocket on. I was really curious how this Egypt journal thing would go, because I have, like I said before, this is outside my wheelhouse for sure. I have never done anything quite like this before. And I am actually really enjoying stepping out of my comfort zone a little. I'm curious how many of you are actually like making an Egypt journal at the same time. Or are you just hanging out with me and listening to me yammer on? Okay, now we've got our pocket on front, and I need to cut down a pocket or a tag that'll fit, like the big one that'll go into the sack, into the paper sack, and then a smaller one that'll go in here. So let me grab my paper cutter. Let me move a few of these things out of the way, like so. Oh, I want to put some of that gold trim on here too. I like the way that just kind of like, you know, gives it a little bling. We'll do that in a second. All right. So as far as height goes, I don't want it sticking out of the top too far. So I'm going to cut off probably about, let's see, an inch. I'm keeping these too. Okay. And then let's see, how wide do I want this thing? So this is my technical measuring, right? This is the edge where I know I'm going to be cutting. And so then I figure out, okay, I want a little overhang here and a little overhang here. So that seems about good. That's the super technical scientific stuff you've come to expect from Musings by Nikki. Okay. Then we do this because I'm always slightly amazed that it worked. And it fits. Okay, now this one we are not going to need. We only want it as skinny as this pocket, and we have to remember there's glue back there. And I want it to stick out just a little on that edge. So we'll go about here-ish. Keep this piece, but it's now going to be too tall, so I need to take some height off. And we'll make sure that that fits in here. And it does. So there we go. Look at that. I actually made that happen on the first chance. Okay, now around some corners, and I'm going to ink. And these I didn't decorate because, again, I have a tendency to overwhelm my journals with thickness. And so I am trying to, if I started adding collage to these, then I'm afraid it's going to get too thick. And this already in itself, has like 4 or 5 layers of paper. So I'm trying to keep it as, thin as possible. So I'm going to ink these. And while I do, I'm going to tell you about the fact that we're going on vacation on Saturday. So I am filming ahead right now in the hopes that I will be able to have a few extra videos maybe to post while I'm gone. But I also realized, I don't know why I didn't realize this until sooner, but just last week, towards the end of the week, I realized that we will be gone over the change over from June to July, which, normally that wouldn't be a big deal. You're like, yep. Except for, that means I need to have the July Junk Journal Inspirations freebie and template and video done before I go. So, in addition to trying to, film ahead a little bit of my Egypt stuff, now all of a sudden I feel like I need to get Junk Journal Inspiration stuff done too. So I'll be a little busy bee. I'm just cutting a little slice off these to make some tabs. The one thing about this ribbon is because it's this woven stuff, it just wants to pull off the edges. So it kind of is a little fussy, but I mean, see what it's doing here? It wants to pull off. So I went with my sewing machine, see, and I just do this and then it's just going to keep coming. So I've got to nip that in the bud and then not really touch it too much. And on my sewing machine, I'm going to go, I fold it over exactly in half, and then I'm going to zigzag over the edge a couple of times to make it so that it doesn't fray as much is what I'm kind of going for. So I'm going to, but actually this one goes on this one. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to sew these on really quick and sew around the card, and then I will be right back. All right. So here we go with the 2 cards. They are sewn around. I'm using for this a variegated thread that goes from like black to kind of a yellowy, like a mustard yellow to kind of an orangey red. And I was like, that's perfect for this. All right. So it goes in, this big one goes in the back slot, and this one goes in here. And again, you could layer them up, but I kind of think it'd be fun to write on that, definitely on the back. So this just gives added journaling space as well. And then by offsetting that pocket, you get to see the tab and the cute little zigzaggy sewing. So there we go. There's a second one, and I managed to somehow put the pocket on the same side, going the same direction, even though, didn't I say? Okay, let's make one that's a little bit different. I've managed to basically recreate the same pocket. So, big paper sack thing. So let's make one more, but let's not make it the exact same. I'm going to go with this one because, you know what? It was on top. That's why. There's my big scientific reasoning. And so I'm going to make my little paper sack here. So yeah, guys, we're totally stoked to go on vacation. We haven't been for a while. Moving up north here felt kind of like a vacation for a while. It still kind of does, not gonna lie. Just being out of the cities, there are still plenty of nights when I go stand on our deck, look at the stars, listen, listen to the frogs and the loons and the birds chirping even in the middle of the night or late in the evening, and just feel like I'm on vacation still. Like there's just no way. It feels like there's no way that we get to live here. It's so calm and peaceful. So, but that said, we haven't been on vacation for a while, so we're excited to go. And the girls have never been, or my husband have never been to the Black Hills, but I've been several times. So I'm really excited to, I mean, first, it's a fun place to go. The Badlands are gorgeous. Mount Rushmore is super cool. You know, there's some really cool caves. There's, you know, golf. There's like a abandoned ghost town, cowboy town type things, and, you know, all kinds of fun stuff that I have seen. I'm excited to see it through their eyes and get to show it to them. It'll be fun. All right. Plus, the first night, actually, the first couple of days we're on vacation, we're going to be in North Dakota. And you might be asking yourself, what in the world is there to do in North Dakota on a vacation? Well, my friends, this is why it's beneficial to have been the director of a company for 13 years. And not just any company, because, you know, just being the director of a company doesn't mean that you somehow know what's going on in North Dakota. But again, what did I forget to do? Totally forgot to ink around inside there. But that's okay. This bag is big enough that we can do it. Post gluing. The company that I ran was a travel program, a nonprofit travel program for adults with developmental and cognitive disabilities. So here in the US, I'm going to just pounce this around a little to kind of age up right around the edge here. Here in the US, we have group homes. I think that's a kind of a fairly common standard practice in many countries. So in our group homes, the residents, you know, live in their group homes and stuff. Some of our clients came from families, but most of them lived in group homes. And they don't, you know, they don't get to choose who they live with, and they don't get to choose who their staff are. They have very few choices in their life, is what I'm getting at. So we wanted to, you know, allow them to be able to go on vacation like all the other people get to go do. So that's what we did. So that's what I did for 13 years. And because I did that, and it was small group supported travel. So we sent groups. So we had a calendar of all of the destinations that we were going to that year. And then they could sign up for trips. So we had staff, volunteer staff, and some paid travel leader staff. And they would take our folks out on vacations. This time we're making the punch on this side. I'm saying it out loud. So they take our folks on vacation. And so part of the deal was I had to, you know, dream up vacations, because we couldn't just keep offering. I mean, a lot of ours were the same ones over and over again, because that way people could sign up for different ones each year. And if, you know, they wanted to go to Disney this year, then they could wait and do their cruise next year. I mean, we went all over the place. International trips. That's how I got to London and Paris, was through with our company, with our people. All right, now I'm going to rip down some of this. So yeah, so in doing that, I spent a lot of time on like websites looking for places to send our groups That would be new and unique and fun. And we needed ones that we could go to that were closer by van. And then ones that, you know, because not everybody can afford a flight trip. Especially, unfortunately, in group homes, a lot of our people with disabilities are very underfunded and don't have hardly any money to be able to do things like this. So we had to try to find all different, you know, cost levels. So if we could drive there, then it was, you know, that takes the expenses of flights out and everything. So we would try to find places you could drive to from Minnesota that were exciting and something fun to do there. So I was looking around North Dakota, and I was like, normally North Dakota has been kind of a drive-through state to get to other places, like out to Yellowstone or something. But Medora, North Dakota, if you've never heard of it, now you know. It's actually kind of a really cool, okay, so I'm going to rip down, let's see, do I want to try to get, no, I'm going to try and rip along this side of this person. Now this may or may not go very well, but I want it to be really, I would get out my tear ruler, except I kind of want it to be a really messy rip. Controlled messy rip. Is that a thing? It is now. There we go. But it's a little long. So Medora, North Dakota, it's like a cowboy town. It's in the middle of Theodore Roosevelt National Forest, National Park, which is cool. Let's put a piece of this in here. Should we put a tall piece? I kind of liked the two smaller pieces before. So yeah, I was like, we started sending groups there, and they started really liking it and coming back saying they were having so much, you know, they had had so much fun. So anyway, I've never been to Medora. I've only been, I kind of want to keep, you know what, I do this. I try to keep pieces of the pattern that I really like, but honestly, I have to be less beholden to that stuff when I'm doing collage. Get out of your head. Get out of my head. To get out of my head. Now I have to find a picture, and I think this guy might be a little, well, I don't know. Let's fussy cut him and see. So Medora, it's a whole town. The whole town is run by a foundation, the Theodore Roosevelt something foundation. And it's totally a tourist thing. But it's like an Old West thing. And they have a whole outdoor musical all summer long. And it's not just some little show. It's actually a pretty decent show. And our groups, we started sending groups there. We did one as kind of a trial thing, and they loved it. And so we would go back. We'd put that on our calendar. It became a regular thing on our travel calendar. So I was like, well, if my family is ever heading in that direction for some reason, we will definitely have to stop in Medora. Okay, that works. He's cute. I don't think I have, do I have more hieroglyphics to put across the top? Going the right direction? Oh, these are. I might not need them though. Maybe we could put a little amulet or something. One of these guys. One of the dark blue ones. Let's ink the edges of this stuff and then start laying it out and see. So anyway, we're gonna go to Medora. You can stay right in Medora, but you have to plan ahead for that because their accommodations usually sell out pretty quick, and because other people know about Medora too. And so we're staying in Dickinson, which is somewhat nearby. So we'll be there for a couple of days. Hope to see the outdoor musical. Hopefully the weather holds out. Looks like it's going to. Looks like it's actually going to be in the 90s. Isn't that precious? Oh, finally cooled down here. It cooled down here so much. Oh, see, Jamie? I'm eating up another one. It finally cooled down here. It cooled down here so much that last night it got down into the 30s and we had a potential frost warning in June, on the first day of June, actually the first day of summer. Wasn't that special? But luckily nothing froze. My plants seem to be happy. My veggies look like they're doing just fine. Okay, I'm gonna just start gluing some things down. And let's see, I have to remember, I'm gonna punch the thing right now, because you want to know what? Otherwise I am going to forget that what side I'm doing this on. And let's do a lower one this time. Why not? We can make the little ribbon tab come out low. Okay. So guys, I'll have to tell you about Medora when I get back. I'm just excited to get on vacation. Although, you know, as the mom, you're always thinking about the packing and stuff, which is nice because I have teenagers, so they can do their own packing. But you still got to check, because you can say things like, bring a sweatshirt just in case, even though it's going to be 90. And then you get out there and they're like, well, I thought it was going to be 90. And I'm like, but I told you to bring a sweatshirt. And then they're like, well, I didn't think I'd need it. And then all of a sudden you're either listening to them whine and complain, or you're going to the store to buy a cheap sweatshirt because they don't have anything to stay warm with. Been there, done both. I was just telling my mom on Sunday, because the girls, they had done something that was like one of those things that's just super annoying. It's nothing, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, how hard is it to, you know, you miss the garbage can. How hard is it to get it the next 5 feet to get it into the garbage? And I was saying how to my mom, now as an adult, as a parent, I appreciate how mad we, you know, like how maddening we were as teenagers in our bathroom in the house we grew up in. Our bathroom had a laundry chute where, you know, you could just, there's a little door in the wall and you open it up and throw your clothes down, and it went down a little ductwork chute to the basement where there was a bucket that would collect it. And then Mom would just haul the bucket over to the laundry machines and do laundry. Yes, I was spoiled. My mom did our laundry for us until I had my first job. When I had my first job at McDonald's, then I had to wash my own uniform. Woo! Hands. Yeah. So, but we had the laundry chute. So it couldn't hardly, you know, like it almost couldn't have been easier for us to, here we go. I don't know which direction to put these either. Oh, I think it goes this way. So we would go in to take our shower and leave our dirty clothes on the floor, even though literally like 2 feet up the wall, 2.5, 3 feet up the wall, there was a door that we could just easily shove our clothes down so that our mom would do our laundry for us. And instead we'd just leave them on the floor. I was like, Mom, I have a new appreciation for how just extremely maddening it must have been to be like, you can't even get it the extra. You don't even have to throw it down. Just throw it through the little hole in the wall. That's it. Oh, man. Sorry, Mom. If you're watching this, sorry again. Okay. I want to put some cheesecloth or something behind that. Did I have some pulled out? No. I gotta start a new piece. Gotta start a new hunk of cheesecloth off my long hunk of cheesecloth. I try to make a somewhat remotely straight cut, but that never happens. But you know what? I end up stretching this out in all kinds of weird directions anyway. Okay. Come on. There we go. All right, I'm just gonna slice off a piece of that to put there behind that. Yeah, it just needed something. Like the other one had the little strip of hieroglyphics with some fabric behind it. This one just needed a little extra. It needs a lot of extra glue because it's got to go through the cheesecloth and to the paper. Okay. Now, do I want to put a strip of gold trim somewhere on here? I think so. We'll put one on the other one while we were at it. Where should we put this one? Down along the bottom, along the side, along the side. So today it feels like fall. The wind just blew through the breeze. The breeze just threw through the, oh my gosh. The breeze just came through my window. And it's a little bit cool out today. It feels a little bit like fall. Which, you know, is my favorite season, so I'm not mad at it. Okay, there. But the little bit of gold gives it a little bit of extra bling. I'm going to wait to glue the gold onto this until I've put it on here, though. So I'm going to glue, yeah, making sure I'm doing this the right way. Glue my pocket on. Okay. This way. Okay. Now, where was I going to put this? On the top, right? Just kind of right there. Trying to draw a somewhat straight line of glue. I don't know if there's like a right side to this or not. I'm just putting it on there like that. It's got a little, there we go. All right. So that's got to dry a little bit. And I need to make it some of my big, these guys. Oh, and there's this tissue paper in between, which is like waxy coated on one side. That will be saved as well. It goes over there. So I'm going to fast forward through me making this because we already did this. Ugh. And I'll be back when I'm done. with our cards. And they should slide in. Ta-da! You could decorate the back up here if you wanted to, or put a pocket here, or you could rip some paper off and put it there for journaling space. But I plan on these going just into, you know, just right into the book, like being attached to the book page. So anyway, guys, I think that's probably about all the time that I have today for this video. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this one down and go plan on my next little bit. Gluey fingers. Our next, well, I don't know which order these are going to go up, but you'll either have just seen a video of me doing really messy crafting, or we're about to go do one in the next video. Who knows? But thanks for hanging out with me for a little while today as we continue to work on this Egyptian journal. I hope that you guys have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night, whatever time it is, on whatever side of this fantastic globe of ours that you live on. And until I see you guys next time, take care and stay safe and be healthy and be well. And I hope that you are able to do something crafty today that you enjoy doing. And I will see you soon. Take care and God bless you guys. Bye-bye.